Hey everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video for you guys, and today we're looking at the Crosman SNR357 CO2 dual ammo revolver. And again, this is the tabletop review. Now I think the SNR, I was looking at it trying to figure out the naming convention, and I came to the conclusion that I believe it stands for Snub Nose Revolver 357. So I could be wrong, but that makes sense to me. Now, if you're interested in this product, it is available in both our Canada and our US Replica Airgun stores over at replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US. I will put links in the description so you guys can find it easily if you're interested in buying it. Now, I haven't done a field test shooting video for this exact gun, but I have reviewed a ton of the Dan Wesson original 357s, the shell loading ones. When they came out many years ago, I've reviewed them in airsoft, pellet, BB, and different barrel lengths, so you should be able to find something close to it in one of my older videos. Now I'm gonna do a full field test video for this anyways, just because it's been a while, and I do like shooting these guns. They're fun to shoot, so why not? So let's get into some of the specifications, then I'm gonna do a little comparison to another gun that's pretty much the same. Let's get right into those specs right now. It is mostly all metal with some plastic on the outside, like the grips and a few things here and there, but mostly all metal, so it's got good weight to it. It does use a single 12-gram CO2 cartridge, and this one will shoot in both .177 caliber in terms of pellets and 4.5 millimeter steel BBs. I want to touch on that a little bit later, the way you load it up. It's a little bit different than some of the other shell loading guns, but it should work. It does have a swing-out cylinder that holds 6 reloadable shells, and the total length is 8.13 inches or 20.65 centimeters, and it does have about a 3-inch or 7.6 centimeter barrel length, which is non-rifled. Now this gun will shoot in both single and double action, so you can either just pull that trigger back and the hammer will automatically come back and fire a shot. That will take a little more effort, or you can shoot in single action by cocking that hammer with a much lighter, shorter trigger. Now this gun has a claimed FPS of up to 400, and it does say that it weighs about 1.92 pounds or 871 grams. Now it does have fully adjustable sights, so it's got a post on the front with a rear adjustable notch on the rear, fully adjustable for windage and elevation, and it does have a switch style safety which allows you to open up the cylinder, put the gun in safe, or allow it to fire. Now, I do like that the CO2 screw is well hidden underneath the grips there. You just got to slide them back and you have access to all of that. And this gun is made in Taiwan and comes in a cardboard box with a manual. So we'll take a look at the box quickly. Okay, SNR357 double action. It's actually a single and double action. You know, people call them different things. I like to call them single and double action. Double action only would mean that it only shoots in double action and you can't use a single action style trigger. So there is some different ways of saying that, but just depends on how your take on that, right? So I see that, and sometimes I think it isn't capable of single action as well, but this one can do both, just to clarify. So dual ammo, pellets, and BBs. And then on the back here, you can see we have 12 gram, .177 BB as well. You got 6 BB, 6 pellets, 1.92 pounds, 8.125 inches, smooth bore, fixed blade, adjustable rear. Safety is a slide style. Okay, 400 FPS. Got some other stuff there. Really quickly, I'm not going to go over this manual. It's one of these fold-up jobbies, and you know, you can go over that and look at all the details. You won't really be able to see much in there because it's pretty tiny print. Here on camera, it wouldn't work so well, so we'll just skip that. You can look at that when you get yours. Let's do a quick side-by-side comparison to a Dan Wesson. And this one, other than it being gold, is really the same gun, right? So you just have Dan Wesson there, and you have Crosman here. So I believe the company called Wingun is the gun company, the manufacturer of this product. Both Dan Wesson and Crosman just basically get them to make it for them, and they, you know, Wingun will put on their branding and whatever little sort of cosmetic differences they want, colors and things like that. But I mean, they really are the same gun, okay? Nothing has changed at all, right? Nothing has changed. Swing out cylinders on both of them, right? Same everything, really. This one does have, well, I'll show you that later, some warning instructions there, whereas the Dan Wesson's a little cleaner in regard to that. That's kind of nice. But, you know, maybe you don't like gold so much. Gold is kind of, well, some people say it's the best. Some people might think it's the worst. All right, let's take a look at this guy. So here's your adjustable rear sight, right? So you got elevation here, windage on the side. Got a post on the front. You do not have really a recessed barrel here. You've got the SNR357. You do have this cylinder that comes out. You've got these shells that you can load. Now, I do want to show you something. You can't load shells into the back, so they're a little different. You have to load them in the front, or sorry, ammunition, not shells, but you have to load either BBs or pellets in the front. Oftentimes you can load through the back, especially when you're dealing with pellets. BBs typically you load in the front. Pellets, oftentimes you just load in the back. So you're gonna have to take your time loading pellets because you gotta put the sort of, the awkward end in first in the back, otherwise they'll shoot backwards. So it might take a little longer to load them up. I'm not sure about this Dan Wesson, what kind of shells. It's the same. So this one, I mean, you could shoot BBs or pellets. I believe this was a BB gun. But the pellet-only versions, or pellet versions, when they did come out, you could load the pellets in the back, which made it a little easier. So just keep that in mind. So here's your safety. You push it that way, so forward, it opens up the cylinder. You push it back all the way, and it's in safe mode. Right in the middle, you're in fire mode, okay? Single action, double action, single action, double action. Grips are nice. They're a little plasticky. I don't like how this does this, and it can come off pretty easy. They all do it. It does have a plastic CO2 tab, but other than that, in here is all metal. It's all hidden pretty good, and this doesn't really need to be metal, at least the tab part. That screw is metal, but the tab is plastic. Just getting these back together sometimes can be a little bit weird, and you can get it sort of out of whack there and it doesn't close right, but usually you get it right the first time. Sometimes it takes a couple times. So you got your warning instructions here, serial number, more branding. I like the finger grooves there. Everything's metal, trigger, the whole gun is essentially metal. Sights are metal, hammer's metal, right? Everything's metal on this gun. So even though it's a snub-nosed shorter gun, it does have good weight to it. And that's what makes these guns really fun to shoot. They feel really good in the hand. There's some substance here. And then, loading the shells and just, especially if you have extra shells, you can have a whole bunch ready to go. It even often comes, some of them will even come with speed loaders, but this one doesn't come with a speed loader. But you can get like the Dan Wesson shells and buy extra ammunition and speed loaders on the website if you want to. And just to show you what a speed loader looks like. So that's what a speed loader looks like. Now again, doesn't come, I don't think it comes with this. I didn't look that closely. Let me double check. No speed loader. Oh, okay, I missed something completely obvious. So this is good that I looked in there again. So remember what I was saying about the BBs, how you're gonna have to load pellets in a weird way. You're gonna have to pop them in backwards. Well, these were kind of hidden in the box. They were underneath one of the cardboard tabs. So these are the pellet magazines. So I totally got that wrong. So you have BB mags, right, which are a little different. So the backs are going to be different. See how the backs are? And then you have pellet mags. So that's actually really cool because you can you've got double the amount of ammunition that normally come with these guns. Normally you just get 6 shells. You got 12 shells here, and one specifically for BBs and one specifically for pellets. So that's cool, but no speed loader. So if you do want more shells and the speed loader, you can buy those over at the Replica Airguns or on the Replica Airguns store there, replicaairguns.ca or .us. All right, let's go over some of the pros and the cons, and then we'll wrap up this review. Now, the design has been around for quite a while. I'm not going to say 10 years, but we're getting pretty close. It's been a while. They've been out for, I wouldn't say a decade, but getting close. So this gun's been out for a while, and it's a decent looking replica of a 357 style revolver. It does shoot in both single and double action, so that allows for more action shooting and more precise shooting. When you slow it down, shoot in single action, it's going to have a little more accuracy just because you don't have to put as much trigger or finger force into it. It does have a claimed FPS of 400, so we'll see where that kind of lies. I'll probably do some BBs and pellets when I do the chronograph test, so we'll see where it actually sits with both types of ammunition. And it's always fun loading up the 6 removable shells and placing them in the cylinder. Makes you feel like you're kind of shooting the real steel gun. And it does have that fully adjustable sight for dead center shooting, so once you get it sighted in, maybe out of the box it might be a little left or right or up or down, but you can really get it sighted in just by adjusting that rear sight. Now the CO2 again is really well hidden inside the grips, and you can choose again between shooting pellets or BBs. And on top of that, you do get 12 cartridges, 6 for BBs and 6 for pellets, so that's kind of an added bonus. All right, a few cons. The barrel is not recessed, so that's a little bit of a giveaway. I do like recessed barrels. They just look a little better. And the area between the cylinder and hammer is a bit long, as it has to accommodate the CO2. So when these guns first came out, they were some of the first shell loading BB guns, pellet guns. And so the CO2 valve in here is a little bit bigger. And that's because I think that's all they had in terms of valves. They had to kind of use something that already existed to get this gun manufactured. Now, since then, the distance has been shortened. So the 357s, the next generation of Dan Wesson 357s, they basically had a much shorter area here. And even like the Colt single action armies that I showed in other videos, those don't have nearly as large an area here. So that was just a byproduct of what they had available in terms of the valves at the time. So not a big deal, but it does make the gun a little bulkier in the back. And one of my last cons would be the grip removal can be a bit finicky. Sometimes when you try to pop it back in, it gets a little out of whack, out of alignment. It'll even come off sometimes and you got to pop it back on there, but that doesn't happen too often. And after a little bit of practice, you figure it out. All right, I want to remind you that the Crosman SNR357 CO2 dual ammo revolver is available in both our Canada and our US online replica airgun stores over at replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US, so check out the links in the description to easily find it. If you're interested in other products, air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories, check out both of those stores as well. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. Also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All right, thanks again for watching. Until next time, take care.